Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing The Last of Us Remastered on Grounded difficulty, and this is my no damage guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 2, and we're going to be leaving this room where we had a bit of rest, and then we're going to go through the underground area and try to head out towards the city. There's going to be some I really wouldn't call it stealth, but it's just quick movement through the environment. I will say that his sprint when he's going at full clip is quite fast. Did I mention that before, that I don't like holding down a certain button to go more quickly, but anyway, so I thought that in this video we could talk at the beginning at least a little bit about maybe some of the topics that I didn't fully continue the thread of in the previous video. I do want to wish you guys the very best for your Grounded campaign as we continue with this no damage project. I did look at my PlayStation 4 light bar, and I noticed that when I took the mandatory damage coming up by a clicker, where your test gives you a healing kit, the light bar on the controller stayed green, even though I knew I had took mandatory damage from the game. There are certain parts in the game, I'm not sure how many there are, where there's mandatory damage, so obviously that can't be helped, but the light bar stayed green even though I had been bit by the clicker. So and also when I'm getting attacked by enemies, I don't see any fluctuation on my light bar, such as the HUD. What the HUD would be, it would be yellow and then red. It doesn't alternate. The colors don't alternate. So I guess the light bar on the controller doesn't. I guess there are no color gradations, so I'm not sure. But I do want to very much thank the folks who are staying with the channel. It's very difficult to narrate videos. If you didn't know, there's as you make videos throughout the years, you'll notice a certain maturation process in people, and who a person was 5 years ago is usually not who they're going to be at the current time. So I do want to thank everybody for staying with the channel and for your continued patronage, because without that the channel would definitely be impoverished and wouldn't be successful at all. So now we're going to just continue up here, and there is essentially there's nothing really much to worry about on this chapter. So I got everything laid out. I pretty much know exactly where everything is, and I usually don't say that, but I've very thoroughly checked everywhere that I could, and I even consulted my previous guide too. So once we get over here, this is pretty much, you can sprint on the right side pretty much all the way to the goal. I also don't know if there are enough supplies on Grounded difficulty so that if one knows where all the shiv doors are, can craft enough shivs to open all of the shiv room doors. I would hope so. If a person didn't ever use a shiv to save himself from a clicker attack, I'm never going to do that. I would hope that there would be enough supplies if you found most everything or nearly everything. If there would be enough supplies. But you've definitely got to play it smart and look everywhere. So the first couple of items, they're over here. There's going to be a pair of lockers, I think, coming up. No, almost. We're not quite there yet. So I am aware of my last walkthrough for Grounded. I know I missed at least one shiv door. But anyway, as you come up here, you want to take a left. There's a pair of lockers over here. This pair has the item. Looks like it's a quarter pair of scissors. And then there's something on the desk over here, some parts. This walkthrough I will be upgrading, so it's, even though it's no damage, it's not a no upgrade run. And honestly, I don't know what I'm prioritizing for upgrades, but I will let you in on all of the upgrades that I make. So as of now, we have not come to an upgrade bench. The first upgrade bench will be coming up probably at least past the 20-minute mark in this video. I believe it's right before the museum, and I think the museum is part of chapter 2. So anyway, there's a lot of areas to look around over here, but there is nothing to pick up quite yet. But stunning game, isn't it? It really is. And every time I play this game, I wonder, I wonder if there was ever any sort of relationship between Joel and Tess, because Joel is really a loner. You know, he's very private, and he's very hurt from his daughter having been killed. So I don't know, such a wounded person, if they would, it's 20 years later, so you've got to figure, in the prologue, he had a kid, he had a house, he was at least 30, so this is a 50-year-old man. I mean, I hope I have that sort of dexterity at 50. But obviously it's a video game, and crouch walking like he does and things like that would be extremely hard on the back. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to be coming up here, removing this clicker from the door. And then there is a shiv room door coming up over here. Now, thing about the shiv room doors, if I know that in any drawer that I pass by, you're welcome to look in what it is, but any drawer that I pass by or area that I don't look in, I know in my mind that there's nothing there because I've already checked. I do a lot of editing in the video, so I've already quite thoroughly investigated the area, but feel free, of course, to do your own perusals of the environment, because I'm under no illusion that I'm perfect. You know, there's just no way that I won't miss something. So this is kind of interesting up here. This is forced damage, so this is unavoidable, obviously. Now, when you get into this next room, there are 2 cupboards, and you can't open both cupboards, because what's going to happen is Tess is going to open one of the cupboards for you. So one of the cupboards has a rag, and one of the cupboards has the alcohol. I think the cupboard to the right has the alcohol. This one. So take your pick. It's half of a piece of alcohol there, and then she's going to open this one and give you what she gives you. She gives you a health kit, and I would recommend not crafting it. So at this point in time, I'm given to understand in my mind that we're not at full health, but it's not affecting our walking speed, so we should be good. So this room has 10 vitamin pills and 25 spare parts. So that's it. Any shiv door that I know that might not contain anything very good, I might not get the contents of the shiv door. But again, in that previous room, if you would rather have the rag, then grab the rag. The rag is on the left cupboard, and then the alcohol is on the right. So I noticed that it was half of a piece of alcohol, so that's pretty good. It's it's more than a quarter. I'm not sure how much of a rag that you get. So I was just thinking I might need the alcohol to craft a Molotov, but I think you need a rag too, don't you? To craft that, I'm not sure. Maybe the rag is more for medical things. I'm pretty sure it's for medical things. So I decided to grab the alcohol because we're never going to be crafting med kits in this game, and that's why I didn't craft the med kit when she gave it to me, because I'm going to keep those supplies. What I think she gave us, and you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything about this game, and I'm sure there's a ton of people watching my videos who know this game inside and out. So please give your input without any hesitation. I won't take it the wrong way. I will not be offended. In fact, I will appreciate anybody who corrects me on something when I know that I'm wrong. But anyway, this is the first clicker over here. You're just going to be throwing bottles to distract him. It's quite easy. This game, fortunately, does not make that Alan Wake mistake of putting the character profile to the right of center. That was so incredibly annoying. Have you ever played Alan Wake? They put the character, they default him to the right of center. It's so frustrating, and you have to correct it every time if it bothers you. But by default, the character is in the center, so you can when you swap shoulders, you can actually have the character when you're moving or crouching, you can have him more to the left or more to the right at your own discretion. It does default back to center, so it always gives you that choice. So that's a good thing, because Alan Wake was ridiculous. I hated that so much, and I didn't like that game. I just don't like. I really don't like it. And not for that reason. I covered it on my channel, but it's just, Anyway, so yeah, but I do question. It could be obvious that Tess and Joel had a relationship, but I always just kind of wonder how much of an isolated loner Joel is, and maybe he just refuses to have any other attachments. But anyway, so here's the revolver weapon. It does make you, I think it makes you equip it. So you always want to make sure that your guns are reloaded. We're coming up on a stealth section over here that when I first played this a long time ago, I had such a hard time doing this, but it shouldn't give you too many problems. If you do it the way I show you, it's very much by the numbers. So when you're sneaking up on the infected, you don't have to crouch aim or graze the analog stick, and it doesn't matter if your light's shining. Either in front of them or behind them, it doesn't matter. See, the main thing, these guys are going to give you problems because they're twitchy. And if they see you, it's because they're seeing you from the side. So you want to make sure you're behind them as much as you can. But they do these little jerky spasming movements, and they're one of the more harder enemies to deal with because of that fact. That guy gives me a problem a lot. So just make sure you let him go into the room and kind of just go into a really straight kind of position, and then just parallel him from the rear and take him out. This is target number 2. And see the guy in the distance? I always think of those guys as library policemen from that Stephen King novella. So these are the library policemen. So see how my character profile is a little bit to the right of center? I'm going to adjust that so it's more left of center over here. It's just situational, so it's going to be a constant thing that I do. Notice there's a clicker over there. So he's not so close to us right now that we have to do crouch walking, but this is the next guy. Just be really careful. Try to not get too much to one side or the other of them, because they will, it's incredible. They'll just snap around and they know you're there because they twitch so much. They should be called twitchers. Anyway, this is the second to last target over here. And again, you've got to be really careful with these guys. Now, in my previous guide, what I did was I went up to the clicker. I did a melee kill with him with the brick. And then this guy, because melee killing a clicker with the brick from the front is allowed takedown, this guy was alerted at the end, and I shot him, I believe. So then when I was doing this project, I said, well, why don't you just save the clicker for the last? You think to yourself when you're doing these, why did I not do it this other way? So anyway, when you approach the clicker like this, you have to stand up. So don't be crouching. Stand up, approach him, and smash him in the face. Now, how do you do that? You very slowly approach him from the front, and then you press square. a couple times, and then you'll do a loud takedown, and it's a brutal kill. You'll finish him off, and that's a cleared room. There's nothing down there except another wooden stick like we have now. So, but there is a bullet up here, so make sure you do pick that one up. But that's a cleared section. It's very much by the numbers, but it's those little jerky movements that I hate. Those enemies are really ridiculous. And the thing of it too is, I mentioned it in the last video, but if you try to attempt with a melee kill on a clicker, if you have a bottle, it's not going to work. It has to be a brick. So I did test that. I went up to the clicker, and I sacrificed some of my time, because a lot of this game is sacrificing time, because you've got to. Oh, there's the med kit. So maybe that actually did give us a heal. I don't know why they take the HUD off. It's mind boggling. It's so bewildering why they think that is going that doesn't add challenge. It's how do you figure that adds challenge? It's just it irritates people. I mean, removing the checkpoints too. There's a couple checkpoints like the Pittsburgh fight. That's going to be really difficult without any checkpoints. You know, I'm quite concerned about that part. I'm gonna get through it, but it's just I don't like that. I just don't like that sort of a way of thinking. That adds difficulty. I can understand the removal of checkpoints, but not letting the player. I mean, I don't even know what the HUD has. It has your health indication, right? So we know we're at full health. We're never going to take any damage. So we should always be good on that score. But I don't remember what the HUD. If you know what the HUD has, I don't know what the HUD tells you. I know it's in the bottom right. I could look on my survivor guide and pull it up in a second, but I haven't done so recently. Anyway, I may have missed these spare parts last time on my other walkthrough. But when you get down here where the next section is, and where you pick up the Molotov for the first time, there's a couple of spare parts on the bench. So if you grab those, you should be checkpointed with those. But what you want to do, if you do fail on this next section, and I just did because I was right near the safe and one of the infected, because I was doing a frontal takedown, and I don't know why I didn't get a Molotov tutorial right there. You usually do when you pick up an item for the first time. But if you fail on this section, they're going to start you right down here. So what you want to do each time is at least confirm it one time. Make sure that those spare parts on the bench, see whether or not the game checkpointed you with those spare parts. If they didn't, you're going to have to get them every time you start the checkpoint, unfortunately. Okay, I can confirm. Oh, don't forget this shiv, by the way. Never pass on a full shiv. I can confirm that where the game starts you do have to, every time you have to turn around and grab the spare parts on the bench. It's unfortunate, but it only takes a second. Now, this area down here is run by a bunch of infested. Some of them are feasting on corpses. In fact, I think it's just one feasting on the corpse to the left. All the other ones are stationary. Now, I'm gonna crouch aim. If you prefer to do something different, go for it. But I really prefer to do this. And I also think that I haven't really tested this yet, but grabbing enemies without lowering the weapon, like going from this stance over here to immediately pressing triangle to grab someone, I haven't risked that yet, and I will in the future. I will test that and find out for you guys if you can transition without having to drop your aim and then grab them. One of the reasons that I don't test things sometimes is because of how long stuff like this takes. See, this is all by the numbers, so that's what I really appreciate this game. I hate unpredictability. I really don't like it. I was recently playing a game called Gears of War Judgment, and they have this sort of thing where there's dynamic spawns and dynamic dialogue. It really rubs me the wrong way. I just like a certain set of things, and I'm a changeless sort of person. See, I dropped my aim over here, and this fucking flashlight shaking, do I really have to do that? If anyone knows, please tell me. I haven't looked in the options yet, and by the time you tell me, I'll probably know, but I hate how they make you do that. But anyway, this is all by the numbers, guys. It goes like this every single time. So make sure that you investigate the cash register where the note to Derek was, because you will need that to open the safe. Now, if you don't want to open the safe, that's your own prerogative. I would not suggest otherwise. So, and it's not hard to do. It's a little temperamental. The infected guarding the safe, as it were. See, normally the game would checkpoint it right over here for you, but they've removed the checkpoints because they're really nice people. But anyway, this clicker over here, just stay to the extreme left. The worst thing you can do is bump into a clicker. So just stay to the extreme left, and we're going to be headed... Get the fuck out of my way. Shit, they're going to cockblock me at the ladder, too, and almost get me killed. So anyway, we're going to head over here to the cash register. You can go up and to the left and around if you want to, but she's not going to hear you if you jump over this. I did fail to this the first time, and I think the reason was it was either because I wasn't spamming triangle enough and then pressing square, or I re-looked at the footage and I couldn't tell if I went from crouching to standing up. There's the 50 scrap metal pieces, by the way. Invaluable. But I don't know if it was either I wasn't spamming triangle fast enough and she saw me, because I don't like spamming triangle, because if I spam triangle too much, then the game might think that I want to grab and then stab them with a shiv, so then I would have to reset. So it was either that, or I went from crouching to standing before I grabbed her. It could have been that. So if she is seeing you, it's not because of the flashlight. Believe me, the infected, it doesn't matter even if you're coming at them from the front. It doesn't matter about the flashlight. It can be on. It doesn't affect anything. But as of now, you just want to trail this infected to the ladder area. He's going to go to the right to a side compartment, and then there's going to be an infected up and to the left who we have to use bricks to get him to move. So actually, I don't have a brick equipped over here, so I'm going to have to pick up a brick. There's a couple of bricks over here. So what we need to do is we need to pick up a brick and then throw it over here to the right. And that's going to cause the clicker who's guarding the ladder area to move so that we can go up the ladder peacefully, but it's still not going to go peacefully. So just throw a brick. He's going to get alerted. He's going to move to the right, and then throw another one, because it's likely that the other one is going to hear the noise too. So now there's a possibility that you don't have to graze the analog stick or crouch aim like this, but I don't know. At any rate, I tried to go up the ladder, and this is the classic story. It happens to everybody, but I tried to go up the ladder. I thought I could make it up, but Tess had to go up, and then Ellie had to kind of get in my way. And then I think I heard the clickers, so I turned the camera around out of fear. Look, they were coming for me. If Ellie had cocked blocked me there, like Tess did, I would have failed. So I kind of did fail in the sense that they almost grabbed Ellie, but do you see the ludicrousy of that? Because it's indeed ludicrous. And I was just thinking, how could I have improved that situation? I could have improved it by having a bottle or a brick, one more beyond what I had, because another bottle or brick thrown further down the hall to the right would have got those clickers further away from me, and I could have got up the ladder. But I'm the person that should have got on the ladder first, I think. So it is nice that enemies, that is to say, the friendly AI cannot betray your location, and it is also nice that you know, since at least I got up the ladder, man. Jeez, Louise. But for some reason, I think I did a chapter select, and I did not have the 50 scrap metal parts the first time I went through this project, and I actually I was so confused and upset about it that I restarted the guide. It was another reason why I restarted this project. And also, once I get to the museum and leave, I pick up a heal. It's sort of like how do you say it? It's not a med kit. It's just a little. It's a pickup that you get that heals you a little bit. And at this point in time, my health, I don't know where it must have been earlier in the video when I took that mandatory damage, because at this point in time, I can be positive that I don't have full health. So it must have been the mandatory damage, because it's quite clear when you get damaged. You see a blood splatter on the screen. So. And the character flinches, so it's quite clear when you're getting damaged. So I'm just going to approach the workbench, guys, and show you my number of parts. 103. Last time I did the project, I had somewhere around, I think, 94. So I'm doing a little bit better for myself. And so a quarter of a pair of scissors over here, and then we're going to head up over to the museum. And there is not much in this museum. There really isn't. But I mean, outside of the shiv door, but inside this shiv door, I'm gonna relook at my footage, because last time I think it seemed, and I know I'm gonna be contradicting myself here, but it seemed like I got shittier stuff. So I don't know. Let's have a look, because it's going to happen in a moment over here. So anyway, we're going to get separated from our friends over here, and we're going to the shiv room door right over here. It's immediately to the left after you pass through the doorway over here. And let's have a look, because this shiv room, there's nothing to the left. It's a whole area. I mean, you get shitty scraps on this difficulty. So check out what you get in this room. You get all these bullets, and you get half of a cloth or a bandage, whatever that is, and you get some vitamins, 10 vitamins, and then 25 scrap metal pieces. That is well worth a shiv, well worth it. And you might want to know why didn't I do any upgrades at the workbench? Well, I just don't want to commit right now. I don't want to commit, and I have not used any of the vitamins for. Actually, oh well, there's a bottle. Yeah, always have a bottle on hand. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I might have to throw a bottle over here I just don't think I can squeeze past this clicker. So I'm gonna use a bottle over here, and I was worried about my needing another bottle when I go upstairs, because the door that we need to go through to rejoin our teammates has an enemy pounding on it, and I wasn't sure if I could sneak up on him. So I threw this bottle, and I thought that perhaps I might be able to find another one en route. See, I may have gone back to find another bottle if that clicker hadn't done a U-turn there. But this is the way to go over here, and I don't know why I had an infected pounding on this door up here when I didn't have him doing this last time. I'm going down the stairs over there to see if there is a. Can you believe this frame rate too? It's absolutely wonderful. But you might have wondered why I was going down that staircase. I was looking for a bottle. I'm still looking for a bottle. You know why? I didn't want to use. I still don't want to use my melee tool right now on an enemy that I could potentially throw a bottle at and then use my melee to. I don't really know what I was thinking, guys. I didn't know if I could sneak up on him, and fortunately you can. As long as you spam the triangle button, you can do a takedown even if they're coming at you from the front. So that's going to be shown in the... oh, this is where Tess gets bitten. It's not a good thing for sure. Now, I would recommend avoiding this area. To my knowledge, there is nothing in that room, so there is pretty much zero motivation. If you can skip a fight, skip one, definitely. This is not the type of game where you want to be chivalrous and have dignity. Because if all you're getting is scraps, then you've got to do it, whatever you can with those scraps. You've got to piece them together and try to get yourself something good for yourself. And because if they're giving out dog shit, that's not too good, man. Take care.